So we're heading down to Georgetown, Texas, town just north of Austin. There's a lady there that does estate sales, and she has a room full of sports memorabilia, autographs, cards. And I thought, who better to pick up on the way than Ben to go check it out with me. I'm excited to see what's there, and we'll go look at it.
Okay, hold on. Mike is dusting off the cobwebs. He's been out of the game for a few months, but he's in the driver's seat today because back in Kansas City, I got smashed with a huge snowstorm that prevented me from making the trip. So today, you're stuck with these two Texas boys.
Let me give you the lowdown with this collection. Okay. So there's a lady that handles estate sales for people, and we're going to meet her brother right now to check all this out. So there's massive collection of autographs and memorabilia and cards, and you and I have some experience with that stuff, so I'm excited to check it out. It's a massive amount of stuff, dude.
Okay. So she's handling the sale on behalf of somebody else?
Correct. That's what I understand.
Okay.
We made it. Whose rookie card looks like that door?
Bob Gibson. That's right.
You made it.
Hey, Robbie, Mike.
Mike.
Hey, Ben.
Nice to meet you. Nice meeting both of you.
Thanks.
So that's Robbie. He's the brother of Chantal, a local real estate liquidator who came across this collection a few months ago. Shout out to Dustin, a viewer of the show, who passed on the lead and helped us find our way here today.
This looks like an antique store. Is this somebody's home?
My sister does estate sales.
Okay.
And when she goes to estate sale, she has 3 days to sell the stuff, right?
Okay.
So if it doesn't sell, she brings it here to her boutique or shop or.
Okay.
And then once a month or so, we have sales. And the guy doesn't really want to sell them. It's his wife that loves us.
The owner of this.
Yes, the owner of this stuff. She's the one who's excited about us being here.
And first impressions, you're walking into like an antique store, you're seeing Matchbox cars and all sorts of antiques, and then you've got baseballs everywhere and tons of binders, and they're labeled, and there's 1967, 1954, and it's exciting. Where do we start?
Okay.
A lot of cool stuff here.
There's a lot of cool stuff here.
It was fun to look at.
So did you sort all of it?
I just laid right there on the ground and started sorting them. And had to look them all up. Like, here's Jim O'Toole. I knew Jim O'Toole.
So you price these as well?
What I was trying to price them at was about 90% of what they were selling from Beckett. He's got like...
See women's baseball cards?
That's the one I keep focusing on, dude. That's the one I kind of go for.
Yeah, I mean, these
think
are
you did through the mail.
Letters and cards.
Yeah, their letters are so sweet. They're really nice.
So how do we go about figuring out, these aren't priced by binder, or are they?
I think here's what we should do.
Okay.
Let's just start pulling some binders down and start looking through it and
Yeah.
see if anything strikes your fancy.
Okay, I'll build a stack, you build a stack.
Exactly. The amount of effort that this guy put into this collection is mind-boggling, truly. He sent thousands, if not tens of thousands of letters to baseball players, mostly football players, asking for their autograph through the mail. And he got tons and tons of response. And he kept all the letters, and he kept the cards, and he kept the baseballs, and he kept everything together. He has the provenance of the story and the journey that he went through to get all of these autographs. So this looks like it's all 1965 tops, and it's alphabetical. And some of them are signed. It says on the front, 36 are signed, 7 are not signed, 43 total. So there must be 43 65 tops cards in here.
I mean, only he can appreciate the value that went in. There's 30 years worth of letter writing. A lot of guys wrote back, and the way that he cataloged it and organized it, I've never seen anything like it. There's just so many unknowns, so many comments. So much of the value is built in the emotional connection, but in him writing a heartfelt letter and then getting the autograph and in the original envelope, like that's meaningful. But whoever's buying it is just looking at the card. I don't know how much time it took to do these. All these are personalized with a story, talking about Round Rock and the minor league game and Ralph Kiner. So that probably took 30 minutes. And then you pack it up and you mail it and you ship it out. You wait 3 weeks and it comes back. You print out the letter, you package it up, you put it in the binder, you take your notes. I mean, thousands of hours stored into this.
I think he sent a baseball and a card to each person because he's got cards and balls of just about everybody.
Look at this handwritten letter to Dick Groat, 1953, asking for an autograph, talking about himself. Little personal connection. Who has this many Willie Frazier signed cards?
This collection is unique, but does it remind you of a similar strategy from a gentleman named Marty out in Arkansas?
Essentially, I wrote to players probably for a year and a half, 2 years. So I wrote to a guy named Tony Malinowski.
Okay.
He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And I asked him for his autograph. I asked just general questions like, what were your memories of Arkansas when you played here? And he wrote me back, and I've still got the letter. He said, loved Arkansas. He was like, actually, one of my former teammates, we actually roomed together, lives here. I lost his phone number, but can you go by and just knock on his door and tell him to call Tony Malinowski?
No way.
And so I convinced my mom to drive me down to this guy's house. I was probably 15 years old, knocked on this guy's door, and I was like, hey, Tony Malinowski. Said, give him a call. He was like, how do you know Tony Malinowski? And so that was Leo Nottingham. Leo Nottingham played for the Red Sox in the 30s and 40s. He was a really good outfielder.
The Marty story is one of the most popular episodes in our show's history. Let's see if this collection can compete.
Jim Palmer, it's a letter. He talks about who he is. I've been a baseball fan since the late 40s, 30 years in the military, lived overseas. Then I'm stationed in Fort Meade, Maryland. I started going to games, and he's talking to Jim. He's like, you weren't afraid to throw a pitch or to pitch to anyone. Such a joy to watch. Like, this is a real personal letter. Yeah. And then he says, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna enclose a ball. Could you please sign it? Like, that is so much work, and it's so personalized. I wish we could go to dinner with him and just hear so many stories, thousands of stories of the people he chose and why and how he got the address and what it was like to get the letter back. I mean, what a great guy, what an amazing collector. Would have been an honor to meet him. Thousands of hours went into this.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, look at this. There's binders and binders and binders. So going through random binders, he had them pretty well organized. It was hard to kind of tell sometimes where we were going with stuff, but I'm going through the K's and I get to Kershaw, and sure enough, he's got a signed Kershaw card. And I know that Clayton Kershaw used to sign through the mail early in his career, so I'm pretty sure it's legit. So I was glad to find something like that in one of those binders. Tony La Russa, Hall of Fame manager, signed baseball. Mike Mussina signed baseball. A couple of inscriptions.
Jim Cott.
Yeah, that's one I was looking for, actually.
Look at that, Eddie Robinson.
Local hero for me.
There you go.
There's people that want to collect every card of every year of every player. You just got to find the guy that wants that.
We found a 1956 Frank Thomas, and it's signed, and it's a beautiful old vintage card. But we look it up online, and there's one for sale that's signed for $6. So a lot of effort goes in. There's just not a lot of value, but 1951 Bowman, 52 Topps. We saw some beautiful old vintage cards with authentic signatures.
But like some of these, like this Bill Verdon, it's so faded because I can tell you why. So this is not an official Major League Baseball. It's made in China. So the quality of the leather is not as great. So you're going to see fading like that. You're going to see deterioration.
I understand what you're saying.
You can tell very quickly if they're official league balls, like some of these.
Yeah.
It's not going to stand up. So as we're going through the baseballs, the more and more I look at them, the more I see faded signatures, bleeding signatures, things that just go, oh, this is not good. And then you turn the ball over and it's a ball made in China. It's a Rawlings, official ball, but it's not a official Major League Baseball. And so they're made so differently. The quality is so much different. And so the autographs just don't stand the test of time. This is a very cool one. I can't believe nobody's bought this yet. Bob Uecker.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
So he notoriously doesn't like to sign. There's two in here I'm super interested in.
What are they?
Jim Thome, and believe it or not, Fernando Valenzuela's in here twice. There's two of them. It says $400 on it. That's her price, or that's his price, or y'all's price, or what? How am I supposed to read that?
Is that the only price on there?
Look, we're not here to be critical or bust anybody's chop.
I'm not feeling it.
Okay, please don't take it that way.
No.
Let's just talk through this Pee Wee Reese. You got $400 on it.
Okay.
And it's I think that's a real National League ball. You can buy them all day right now, already authenticated, which costs money to do that.
Understood.
For $179, $149. Like they're buying now, not even sold. They're literally, you could buy them right now. here's one that ends in 3 days, $70. There's 122, 149, 149, 159.
Does it have the little letter in it?
Nobody's gonna pay for the letter. No one cares.
Okay.
The letter matters to somebody like Ben and me. We care. That stuff is cool to us. That adds a layer to the story that makes it cool.
But it's an authentication step, isn't it?
It is and it isn't. I could write a letter all day long.
Interesting discussion happening right now. What do you think about the handwritten letters to the player? As a collector, do these mean anything to you? Let us know in the comments below.
It's about a $150 ball. It's $150 on eBay. I'm not gonna pay $150 for it.
Right.
I might pay $100 for it, you know? But if you were to sell it on eBay at $150, you're gonna end up with $110 after fees, and
Right.
you know what I mean? So plus I have cash, you know, I'm willing just to get, you know, something like, that's just one example, one baseball. And I may have 10 that I want to go through like that and go, all right, here's what I'm offering for these. If she says no, she says no. That's fine. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. I really don't need a Pee Wee race baseball. I would like one.
She knows, she understands the difference between intrinsic value and marketplace value. She gets it. That's what she does. So she'll work with you on something if you decide that. But she doesn't want to come in here and market at $75 because and then somebody gets on YouTube and says, look at this, half the price, and I can now go make a bunch of money. You know, she don't want to be that person.
This is going to be in my collection. This is my forever stuff.
Gotcha.
And I have enough baseballs where I'm like, well, if I can add a few more Hall of Famers that I don't have, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not like going, oh, I have to, this is the keystone to my collection.
I understand.
It's very cool. Would I love to own a piece of this collection? Yes. You know what I mean? That's where I'm trying to get.
I do.
Lots of the cards were multi-signed. So he would send a card to a player that's maybe on a league leader card or a team card or something, and he would get it back, and then he would send it to the next guy and have to wait for that one to come back. So it's a multi-step process. Again, the work the guy put into this collection is unbelievable. Amazing. And kudos to him for that. Hey, here's Josh Hamilton. Okay. Signed card. What's cool about the way Josh Hamilton would sign, he would get so many requests, especially when he started blowing up after the 2008. He became incredibly popular, 5-time All-Star, MVP, on his way to a great career, great recovery story from addiction, kind of fell off at the end. But the way Josh Hamilton would do all his fan mail, he'd get it all in all year. And at the end of the year, he would film himself signing all of these letters from kids and people requesting his autograph. So first of all, I have about 300 Josh Hamilton signatures, so I can tell you this one's totally legit. This was done in 11, so this was the height of Rangers had just gone to 2 straight World Series, 2010, 2011. I'm kind of a Rangers geek. So Chantal, bless her heart, she has got a lot on her hands here. There is a lot here, and I think it's trying to figure out what's the best way to get rid of this stuff and to liquidate it, because there's a lot of stuff in there that, quite frankly, might only have a few people that actually would want to own it, and that's tough. She's got a challenge in front of her, no doubt.
As you know, in most situations, we look to buy everything. But with a collection like this, it's extremely hard to quantify a fair price because it would take an enormous amount of work to extract the value. With what you've seen, what price would you be willing to pay? $1,000? $5,000? $15,000? Or even $30,000. Let us know in the comments, and I'll tell you Chantal's price here in a minute.
You're talking with Mike. Chantal, how are you?
Hi.
Hi. Look, he's never going to get compensated for all the work that he put into this collection, which is tremendous. We see that. I value that. I love it that he did. It's amazing that he did this. It's obviously a labor of love. But I'm looking at just a Pee Wee Reese signed baseball, truth, and I go, okay, what can I go buy that for? How much do I want to, you know, I want it. I'm not like dying, but I'd like it. It's cool. So on a Pee Wee Reese ball, for example, $150, I can go buy one right now. I'd pay $100 cash for it, you know? And so.
Yeah, I think we had somebody that was interested in it too.
At 200 on that? Then you should sell it to them for $200 and not sell it to me for $100.
Yeah, I kind of held back some people because I kind of wanted to see what y'all came up with on it. But I remember it's the most expensive one in the case, I believe.
That was one of the bigger ones for sure. Mike Mussina, for example, it was over on the side. He's a Hall of Famer. He he signs through the mail right now. You can send him $20 and a baseball and he'll sign your ball. So
Right.
there's not a lot of value there because I could go do it myself for $30, go buy a baseball, go send it to him. So, but I'd buy it for $30. I'd pay what I'd have to pay to get it done. There's a Jim Cott here, another Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame pitcher. Cool baseball. No price on this one either. But we can go look that one up. Whitey Ford. That's another good one.
Is there a price?
No price. So we can look those up. I don't know what a Ford ball goes for, truthfully. I'll have to look it up too. I don't keep up with all this. And there's a bunch of cards, signed cards that I liked just because I collect Ranger stuff and Hall of Famers and stuff. I'd probably do $60 for that whole stack of cards.
So where would you be? Where would you be on the Whitey Ford?
$40, $90, $40. The auction ones go for $40 to $50. Some people buy them now for $60, but they're authenticated. These aren't authenticated. Again, the authentication costs money, and that's why people are willing to pay more for those balls.
Here's one that's 90 that's not authenticated. So what are you thinking about on that one?
I'm thinking like $60,
Okay.
which is more than some of them sell for and less than others.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of like in the middle.
So I'd be kind of in that ballpark, no pun
So
intended.
how many balls are you looking at right now?
3 total. And then there's a little box of cards, Stan Musial, unopened. You got $40 on it. If you'd do 30 for that, I'd buy that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Nine cards there for that $60 he's talking about.
And some of them are cheap, and the most expensive one here is probably the Kershaw, would be my guess.
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah,
is
Kershaw.
awesome.
How much was the Kershaw?
I priced it around $40. There's a Tony Oliva, Bruce Bochy, Dusty Baker, a few Dusty Bakers. So just guys that I'm interested in that I like. And so there's so much here though.
Yeah, Buffy writes those down.
Okay.
So how many cards are there?
9, is that correct?
Yeah.
9 cards.
60.
Yep.
Okay.
And the condition matters. All of it is part of the equation
Oh, I understand.
in determining value. So we're good at 30 on that. We're going to send her these 3 names of the balls. Ben's up. Ben's up.
Ben's up. All right, here.
And then I want to know if she's selling
All
this
right.
case.
This will be easy. I've got a couple things.
Just got the helmet right
There's a where's that Bible? There's a really cool New Testament. It's got a nice little clipping in it. Sergeant Fritcher missing in action. It's a little New Testament from World War II. I think it'd be cool to look up the family and give that back to them. And then there's an old bat, Ernie Banks. What price do you guys have on these books? Do you know the ones I'm talking about? They're right when you walk in. There's a stack of them. I looked online. It looks like $5 to $10 on eBay all day. Ernie Banks bat, you've got 30, and then there's no price on the New Testament. I could do 50 for all that.
Just make sure, Robbie, that we itemize that, okay?
Yep.
And you might take a picture of it. That'll help me.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
What fun it was to meet you, brother.
Yeah, same. That was awesome.
Yes.
Hope you learned something. Hope we all learned something.
Thank you for your time. That was great.
Great stuff. So Ben, I think I did pretty good. I got a Whitey Ford baseball signed, a Jim Cott signed baseball, and a Mike Mussina. Players I didn't have in my baseball collection, although signed baseballs isn't like the main focus of my collection. It's still cool to add them when you can. This is pretty neat. 2015 Heroes of Baseball, the Stan Musial set. Unopened box. We're gonna open this later.
Okay.
And have some fun with
I
that.
love it.
And I found a few cards that I wanted. Couple of Dusty Bakers, a Tony Oliva, Clayton Kershaw, Bruce Bochy, and then a 1979 Topps Bert Campaneris because he's on the Rangers.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I got an old Ernie Banks bat. This is probably in the 60s somewhere. And I collect more than sports cards. I love Westerns, so I got some old Western books. And then I also collect old Bibles, so found a really cool New Testament.
The guys definitely got some cool stuff, but I promised I'd let you know the final price. Chantal's client was looking for $30,000 on the entire collection. This wasn't a good fit for us, but we wish her luck. Okay, this journey is just beginning because Ben and Mike are headed south to Houston for a little surprise. But you're going to have to wait until next episode for all the details. Here's a little sneak peek anyways.
My youngest son's gonna love these.
Yeah, there's Ruth.
Oh, there's Ruth.
That's crazy. That's next level.
So you did the 52 set. Okay, what's the next level? So there's an unopened box of 2018 Top Sapphire. Are you kidding me?
Have you been my whole life? Love that he's in the hobby. He's a collector. And so he's talking about being in the clubhouse and opening boxes. And
I have a surprise for you.
really?
Yeah.
What is that?
I really can't tell you. It's going to be neat.
You did that for me?
Right up your alley, man. It's something that you are going to just love.